I mean, he showed off his versatility this year, which I did not believe he possessed with 59 catches. His career high before that was 27. So he really showed that he can catch the ball, complete back, a guy that's very capable of handling over 300 touches. And I know there's a big injury prone label thrown around him, but over his last 2 seasons, he's played 29 to 32 games. And yes, there's been some inconsistent stretches for those games, but there's been also some very, very dominant performances where he'll rack up 200 total yards and look like an absolute monster. He's proven he can run in a power scheme. Last year, transitioned to a zone blocking scheme and still performed very, very well. So Carlos Hyde brings a lot to the table. I'm a big fan of him. He's a powerful guy, but he still has good wiggle. He trimmed down last year, which I think really helped him in that receiving game, getting open in space, running those routes. So I'm a big fan of Carlos Hyde. I think he can bring a lot to the table for any team as a featured back, featured workhorse. And when you look at the rest of this list, especially when you combine it with the draft class, I'm not so sure that anyone else on this list is going to go and land a workhorse role. But Carlos Hyde can step in and be a team's, main back. Potential value holes in terms of him, I would love to see him to go somewhere like the Bucks. They could use a good power runner now that they've released Doug Martin. Explosive overall offense. I know last year they definitely underwhelmed, and was the reason that a lot of people who followed us ended up the Bucks were a real piece of shit team, to be honest. But I still think the pieces are there, and they could all click with a couple line additions. So you had Carlos Hyde, you draft for the line. I could see a lot of value coming out of there. But my favorite place to see someone go, and I actually hope it's not Hyde here, I hope it's like Saquon or a more exciting rookie, would be the Giants. Pat Shurmur, that's my number one value hole for running backs, is the New York Giants. He's a historic workhorse breeder. RB1s have handled 83.9% of his rush attempts. It's 308 on average per season. 63.9% of his running back targets have gone to the RB1. 67 targets on average. 6 out of 9 seasons, he's just thoroughly ridden a workhorse. You got Steven Jackson's history. You got LaShawn McCoy with the Eagles. Trent friggin' Richardson had over 1,300 yards, 12 TDs, and 51 receptions. Trent fucking Richardson, who's done nothing since then. So, I mean, Shurmur really squeezes the most out of his backs. I'd love to see a workhorse go there. I hope it's none of these free agents. I hope it's Saquon or someone more exciting. But hell, if Hyde goes there, he'd be an RB1 next year. So